Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I'm glad that you could join me here. We're about to listen to Jim Cramer and Jeff Mox in a bit, but guys, if you stick with me, I promise I have a special treat for everybody that watched the Investment Club till the end. So just watch it till the end, and you will definitely see what that treat is. Now, let me go and listen to Jim Cramer and Jeff Mox from the CNBC Investment Club.
Another day where it looked like it was going to be down big and then got a little bit resurrected, at least for the morning. And that's because the PPI, which is currently in control, did flash a little bit hotter than expected. But Jeff, I've got to tell you, as I break it down, I simply believe that this is not the important number. It's the CPI, and you should not react to it.
Right. Today's PPI number did not really change expectations for next week's FOMC meeting. It's still about a 75% probability of a 50 basis point rate hike. I think they're going to do 50.
Yeah,
I feel like that's been flagged.
I think that they should,
unless
frankly.
CPI is really high.
Right. I mean, look, I think that CPI's got used cars in it and gasoline in it.
Good points.
I think that there was food in this that was up.
Yeah.
But I like to go with I am a demon when it comes to what companies are saying. And Costco reported last night, and they talked about actual declines in a lot of food stuff. And so, I mean, I know that the PPI is put together by very smart people at the Labor Department, but I'll take the very smart CFO, Rich Galanti, of a place that's got 100 million people. Remember, Costco is representative of America. And I felt better about food inflation after listening to that call last night. A call that, by the way, was excellent, and yet the analysts are piling on as if it was negative.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Costco. They did report tonight. The sales numbers were a little bit light, but we already knew that from when they reported
from the
the November sales last week. EPS a slight miss, but there were some one-time items in there, including a charge they took on that ocean freight,
which, by the way, they did
the armada that they had during the supply chain woes.
That was when the cars were $1,000 to $2,000. They saved $1,000 to $2,000 per car.
Yeah,
and they had 50,000 containers. So,
yep. Looking out on the horizon, it does seem like the special dividend and a membership fee increase are when, not if.
He made that point twice.
Yeah.
So would you buy it right here?
You know, it's interesting. So the stock's down about, call it 10%, 11% since that November figure. We did trim higher. They did say Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for e-commerce at least, were record days for them. So, there is some concern that the comps are slowing down, but
I like the call.
Something they're doing quite
I felt
well.
The call was classic Costco.
Yeah.
Costco ultimately, it looks like on a chart, it looks like that, but it really is where you have individual months that are not perfect, and then followed by months that are perfect. So I am sanguine about Costco. Now, I'm not saying about Activision Blizzard.
Yes,
that's a wild one, but I've got a line on it that I think can kind of summarize what the FTC can argue.
Right. So they're suing. They filed a lawsuit to block Microsoft's proposed acquisition of the gaming company Activision Blizzard. Even though Microsoft has made assurances that they would offer long-term deals to put the new Call of Duty games on other consoles like Switch. But the FTC clearly is taking some issue here.
Okay. So, my wife's in business with a company called Fosforo. It's Mezcal. And what we have in this country is a three-tiered system. This came after the Depression. If you make liquor, you cannot sell it directly to them. And the reason is because you can favor your own against all the other restaurants. So if you're Seagram's, you can sell it to a Seagram's restaurant, and you can charge these guys more, all right? That's called the Tied House Rules. That is the doctrine that the FTC is using. Basically saying, listen, if Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard, they can have Call of Duty, which is the equivalent of the liquor, and that the other stores will have to pay too much. Now, given the assurances that Microsoft made, I would have thought that would have ended this issue. But it seems to have meant nothing. And by the way, Sony is complaining.
Yep. And it's probably, it's going to be more than the U.S. that's going to require this approval. The UK is going to be another tough one to watch.
I think it's dead.
All right, guys,
and
let me just jump in here very quickly, guys. We'll get back to the meeting in a minute. So you get all the analysis on Costco. I wanted you to hear that complete call, and Microsoft. So I could just, from an investor point of view, I think you should be buying both two stocks. If you could find a way to get into Costco, as you see, Costco is it dropped a little bit, but it's not going all the way down. And Microsoft still remains strong, guys. So these might be two stocks that you should definitely consider buying in. Also, Procter and Gamble. I'm not sure what it is. I love Procter and Gamble. This is a stock that you could buy. So as you listen to the recommendation and you listen to the analysis, please try to look at your portfolio and consider adding stocks like these if you no longer have it. Just remember, guys, I will come back. I will let it play for a little bit, and then I will come back and I will tell you that special gift I have for you at the end of today's meeting. So let's get back with Jim Cramer and Jeff Marks from the CNBC Investment Club.
After this, I think that they just want mergers done.
Yeah, it is a tough look for mergers, and it would be actually good to see mergers happening, especially with the way the market has gone this year, because consolidation needs to happen. At
Very
this
much
point.
so. Very much so. So we also had there's a lot of people talking about Lilly, and a lot of people talking about Estee Lauder, two of our stocks that have done very well in the last 2 weeks, and not in a way that makes you feel confident. Jeffries talks about Estee Lauder and basically says, hey, listen, Tom Ford, look, turns out to be better. I think that's a trend following call. Eli Lilly this morning, we deal with a terrific Dr. Gottlieb. He was former head of the FDA. He mentioned that their
Also
weight
board
loss
member of Pfizer and Illumina.
Right. Very good. The weight loss drug works.
Yeah.
That Lilly has. Obviously, he made the point that it can be abused, of which I would say, well, everything can be abused. Everything. But the fact is that obesity is a national nightmare in this country, and it is going to be prescribed en masse by doctors who are more concerned about obesity than they are about any side effects. So I didn't hear anything that made me feel like anything other than just hold on.
So next Tuesday, they have their annual guidance update for the next year. This would be for 2023. There have been, we talked about this earlier in the week, there have been some analysts that have said maybe management's conservative. They're going to have to invest a lot in the business to support all these new blockbusters that they're going to be launching over the next couple of years. But 2024 looks incredibly strong off the back of that Mounjaro launch.
Now, I want to give some special insight today. I spent a great deal of time with Mark Benioff yesterday from Salesforce.
Yeah.
Now, understand, I've known Mark since 2008. I've been a supporter of Salesforce since 2008. It happened to have been at $8 in 2008. We've had a very long run. Obviously, no one ever wants to do a run and then suddenly have the stock come down, but that's what happens, cut in half. Not the only one. Here's what Mark really told me. Okay. And I pressed him. It was at one point very ugly, where I'm literally just saying to him, hey, listen, I don't want to hear about the products. I want to know what happened. I want to know whether the customers that don't like it. I want to know whether shareholders have told you don't like it. Now, Mark Benioff has demonstrated to me a degree of truth all my dealings with him. So I believe it when he says the shareholders are not unhappy and the customers, more important, the customers not unhappy. They do have this customer genie. It gives you more data, and then being able to analyze it from Tableau. That was not front and center for me. What's front and center for me was what the heck happened with Brett Taylor, and whether is it something that is endemic.
All right, guys, I just want to jump in here really quick, as Jim talked about his conversation with his friend. It's kind of crazy because sometimes I don't like just listening to a CEO tell you he's going to tell you all the good things. So I wouldn't advise you to buy Salesforce based on what Jim is saying. We have seen that Jim got burnt before that with PayPal, where, they did an interview and hear everything he wanted to hear, and then he did recommend PayPal. So just take that with a grain of salt. I just want to talk about Estee Lauder, guy. I want to talk about him. I still think that is a great stock. I still think you should try to get in, and with the market down, anything you can buy, guys, consider buying whatever you can buy here. Oh, and just before I leave, I want to tell you about a special offer for today and today only. Check your links. What I'll be doing, I'll be giving you a link to watch it's normally for my Patreon only, but you'll get a link to watch the CNBC Investment Club meeting. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching the video. Please don't forget to comment and subscribe, and check the link if you want to see the meeting in its entirety. Anyway, talk to you, and I'll see you on Monday when I do another video reaction of the CNBC Investment Club morning meeting. Anyway, guys, thank you. Please comment and subscribe to the channel.